you're ranked in the top 5, your very existence is a cauldron of pressure. And that is ratcheted up when you go on the road. And this highly ranked squad has found itself coming into a snake pit in this one. Welcome to the home of the Colorado Buffaloes, Boulder, Colorado. As we'll see a participant from last year's playoff, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, taking on another team from the ACC, the Colorado Buffaloes. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack, and Jesse Palmer with me. Guys, it's time to get it going. And the Golden Gophers will kick it off to get us underway. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. The Buffaloes offense takes the field for the first time today. This wide receiver matchup is one that we've been waiting to see. You have two guys on either side, Jesse, who are really going to make the secondaries nervous.
Well, they should, because these guys can take the top off of defense. You've got two very dynamic individuals playing on each offense, and if I'm playing quarterback in this game for either team, I am going to take my shots and give my guy an opportunity, because both of these guys, David, have proven they can make circus-level catches.
I mean, when they're not open, they're open. I mean, they can make the dynamic catches, the contested catches. They have the speed. They are two of the best playmakers in all of the country. So whenever an offense has the football today, you're going to like the show.
Second down, he'll throw it. Finds his man. How about this sophomore stopping him short of the first down line?
Such a great job on the defense winning on early downs. What does that mean? Now it means third and long. Third and long, now I go to dime packages, to nickel packages. I'm taking linebackers off the field and bringing on DBs to really cover more guys and have more speed on the field.
On third and long, he'll need to loosen up that arm. Safe completion on the screen. Tackle is made at the 27. Let's see if they decide to punt it. The Buffaloes send out the punt unit. They'll boot it away for the first time tonight. He gets the first one off, and he was busier than he hoped in that loss last week, being called on 5 times. And the punt team able to sling him to the ground. So the Minnesota Golden Gophers offense will go to work for the first time. And what a performance, an aerial show from this guy in the last game, and he has to have a ton of confidence coming into this one, Dave.
Yeah, it was a great week. And watching that tape before this game, like you could tell, man, he was singing it quick. The ball was coming out, just touchdowns at will. A really nice day. And I think, Jesse, you take that and you start to build on it for this offense and really continue to trust him to make plays through the air.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think he really earned his offensive coordinator's trust after that performance. So I'm anticipating the playbook to expand a little bit in this game. Maybe see some new schemes in the passing game just based on what this guy was able to do the last time he took the field.
Jukes his way for more. And a good, solid pickup there before the defense knocks him down.
You want to make play calling easy for an offensive coordinator? Run the ball like that every play. I mean, when you can run that on first down and set up a short yardage on second down, it makes play calling easy. Every single call on that sheet is available here on second down.
Well, that one falls incomplete, but you know this guy is a big part of their passing attack. You saw the last game out, he had multiple catches from the running back position. They are going to try to get that established in this game.
Strong pass rush gets to the quarterback, and they get him at the 46. The Golden Gophers will call on their punt team. They'll boot it into the night sky for the first time. Sends his first one of the day on the lane. We didn't see much of him in that victory last week, just called on one time. Colorado has the ball back, and the Buffaloes hoping to put their team in prime position on offense. They went 3 and out on their first possession, now to see if they can be more productive this time. There he goes! They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground covered to pick up the first. You know, sometimes even a short gain like that can be used to set up something bigger later on.
No doubt, Reese, they can pump that and take a shot down the field. And don't worry, they're going to go back to that same play because they know this guy with the ball in his hands is dangerous. He makes one guy miss, he can take it to the house.
Grab near the sticks. It's Dingle. Changing on the move. It'll be a first down at the 29. Pass completion, move the sticks, and let's see if they try it again. Looking downfield on first down. Swings it out to his running back. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
Well, there was really nowhere to go for the quarterback with that football. He's just trying to check it down to his running back, and the defense was there, and they made the play.
Working well behind the sticks on second down. Wants to go up top. Got his man quickly. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few.
And that was a really good job by the defense. Again, keeping everything in front of you in that situation, and now you're rewarded with the 3rd and long. So on this down, we'll see if they bring some pressure or if they lay back and play zone.
It'll be 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Gets it out fast. They make the stop about 4 yards short of the first down. And the Buffaloes will send out the punt unit. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. Here's the return. And you make the stop, and that is exactly what you want out of your punt cover unit. Minnesota has it back, and the Gopher offense is headed onto the field. Let's see if they can put together a drive starting from their own 28. Toss sweep to the right. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play.
They're trying to run the football. There's just nowhere to go for the ball carrier inside. He tried to bounce it to the outside. That linebacker way too fast. He met him there and forced the TFL.
Brown wants to pass. Makes the grab. Brings into the open. They finally get him on the ground, but he's got an explosive play for the first down.
And it's frustrating as a defense when you give up that first down and you give up that pass play. But here we go with this offense. They're right back on the ball. You got to flush that. You got to get lined up, and you got to communicate.
Complete to the left. Slippery slide. Find his way and ran away from the crowd into the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Gophers.
Well, this offense is top 10 in the country in points per game because they've got a lot of speed and they've got home run hitters. They score fast. They don't need 10 plays to go down the field. You saw it right there. They've recruited well. They've got playmakers. They are going to be a problem for defenses all year long.
One final play before the end of the quarter. The break, it's Minnesota holding the lead. And we've come to the end of one. And let's take a quick moment to catch up on the stats. Had a chance to talk it over during the break, and they'll start with second down. Back in motion, try to clear the picture. Second down, they'll go to the air. Grab near the marker. It's Karapateas. Really nice pickup there as they have it out to the 44 with the first down. New set of downs after the completion. Wants to throw on first down. That one never had a chance. Incomplete.
Yeah, I don't know if the quarterback got confused on first down. He might have thought the defense was going to be in man coverage that time, but they were in zone. They fooled him and just didn't seem like he had his eyes in the right place, was forcing that ball to his intended target. The window way too small. The guy was not open, so that didn't have a chance to be complete.
Just keep slinging it. They're working that left side. Defense uses the sideline there, and he gets it into plus territory at the 49.
One of the things you love about this running back is not only can he run between the tackles, but he's also a weapon in this offense, catching the football.
In the gun and looking to throw on third down. Caught near the sticks. It's Karapateas. That'll be enough for the first down as they mark it down at the 31-yard line. And the Buffaloes are moving quickly down the field. shotgun. They go to the ground. Past the first down marker and still running. They finally get him stopped. This veteran junior running back comes up with a nice play.
First down, physicality wins football games. Being able to run the football, create balance. And right here, just choose up another first down, gives you another chance to maybe continue to run the football.
And I feel like this guy, too, is just an explosive play waiting to happen. His vision, his quickness, and he's got a burst. If you give this guy just a crease, he's going to hit it. Right now, he's doing some damage on this defense. Awesome job up front by this defensive line, being so good at the point of attack and eating blocks, eating some double teams that allows these linebackers to run free, unencumbered, and get to the football.
And that's going to fall to the ground incomplete. That was a physical matchup there. Third down coming.
What a play by the defender there, guys. In his own end zone, the offense has taken a shot, and if that defender was just one step behind, that would have been a touchdown, but the hit forces the incompletion.
On third down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. Can't make the grab as he was going for 6 right there. And on fourth down, here comes the field goal unit. And he'll kick for the 3 from 36 yards out in the right hash. Splits the uprights. Good. That'll bring him to within 4. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Interesting to see the ripple effects after this one in the SEC today, fellas. Oklahoma State stomped a mud hole en route to a double-digit win, and they did it outside of Stillwater. That speaks to the way this coach has galvanized this team and the direction this program is headed.
Off the play fake on first down.
Always interesting to see good SEC teams collide, and today was no different. The agony and ecstasy of college football, fellas.
Yeah, how about that? Sounds as if they had a good ball game there, Kevin. Thanks for the update. And the Golden Gophers with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. Brown will throw it. Makes the grab. All the way out to the 43-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds, and this offense is on the move. Now on first down from the 43-yard line. They'll run play action. They get to him as he throws. Missed his receiver there. It's incomplete.
I don't know about the decision that time by the quarterback. He may have been expecting man coverage, but that time the defense was in zone, and they did a really nice job closing the window. The intended target was not open, and that's why that one fell incomplete.
Back to pass. Looking to the big tight end. Got his man downfield. Chopping up this defense, and they've got it all the way down to the 23.
Man, this offense is so dangerous, Reese. They've got dudes all over the field that can make plays. There's a big gainer in the pass game.
You get a chunk of yards like that, now the defense is really on its heels. Looking to throw on first down. Grabbed in the middle. It's Ncaa.
Man, it's so important when you play QB. I got to know when to put some air on it, and I got to know when to rocket that thing in there. Work in the middle of the field. He knew he needed to rocket. Threw it in there. Great job, great catch.
Picked up maybe a yard. It's down at the 16. Offense changing the play. We reached the 2-minute timeout. We've got a tight one, and they'll try to build on the lead before going to the locker room. The Golden Gophers come to the line on third and short, hoping to keep the drive alive. The give on the option. He was running through tackles and picked up the first down and finally got knocked down.
That has got to feel good if you're this offense picking up that first down by running it, because we know the struggles they've had this season, particularly on third down. So to come out here, run the ball, keep the drive alive, let's see if they can generate a little bit of momentum.
He's got it on the run. They'll mark him down at the 2. The excellent execution on that throw and catch. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Operating in the red zone here on second down. Let's it fly. Had it in his hands for the score and let it fall to the turf. It'll be third down.
Well, this offense has gone his way early and often in this game. They've gotten into a nice rhythm. That time, though, the defense was expecting the throw going his way. They put a really nice hit on him.
And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Minnesota! Backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost, no problem.
When you start in the black zone inside your own 20 coming out, it's difficult. You can give up a safety. You get worried about that. And the offense puts a great drive together. Great job executing. Great job getting a touchdown.
And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. And the Colorado offense is coming back onto the field. Not a lot of time left here in the half. Let's see if they can cut into this lead.
And this drive isn't a must score, but, man, you look at the scoreboard. You're down 2 scores. Jesse, you got a good opportunity. Create some momentum. Cut it to a 1-score game. This is an important possession.
Oh, he's got some space. Works his way out to the 36-yard line before being pushed out of bounds. They've got it at the 36. It's a 1st and 10. Use the play fake. Now to throw. He's got him in the flat. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming. The Buffaloes are in the hurry up. Going to sling it on 2nd down. Caught in the backfield. It's Karapateas. They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. They just keep firing. Fires to the right. It's caught. He's got enough to move the chains, and they'll spot it at the 47. It's a 1st down. They'll stop the clock to reset the chains. Offense up tempo. Back open in the middle. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the 1st down. Quick tempo, no huddle offense. 2nd down. Clock's running. Looking to fire. Unloads to the wideout. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. The offense calls timeout. It's the 2nd one they've used this half. And the Buffaloes getting set on 1st and 10. They've marched to the red zone, and here they go. It falls incomplete. He was trying to find his man for 6.
And the big tight end, a lot of times that's a bigger strike zone, a bigger dude, and you could tell they put the hit on him, and that ball came out, and it came to the turf. Nice job playing physical by this defense.
And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. And that one is picked up in the end zone. They'll run him out of bounds, but look what's on the ground. Penalty marker.
Pass interference. Offense.
So they'll decline the penalty. Pleased with the results of that last play. Making side adjustments here. Brown wants to pass. He fires a bullet to the right. He's got it on the outside. Across the 50 and knocked out of bounds at the 48. An explosive play gets this offense working. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Grabbed over the middle. It's a trap. They make the tackle at the 33, but he's ripped off 15 yards and picked up a 1st down. The offense calls a timeout to stop the clock. Time dwindling away as they try to put points on the board right before the half. Looking to throw on 1st down. What a job to lay out and make the catch. How about the zip this junior put on that ball to pick up the 1st down? They're in the red zone and they'll pass it. He'll take a shot. He snares it in the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Gophers! No midseason concentration laps here in Week 7 as they push out that lead.
Man, what great offensive execution. You talk about addressing a 2-minute situation and using almost all of the clock, adding to your lead and creating more momentum going into the half. Great execution by this offense.
And they'll haul down the returner to start us on the next drive. It's first down, but the offense is just going to take a knee and go to the locker room. That's the end of the second quarter. That means it's time to join Kevin in our halftime update.
Fellas, yeoman's work so far today in Boulder, and welcome in to the halftime update. And there's no more fitting place to begin than with this stud receiver and how he's dominated the first half. Some guys have the ability to elude and evade. This young man is a true three-level threat. Short passes, the intermediate game, and then the deep ball. He is a problem, and I don't think this defense has the solution.
The Minnesota offense is headed back onto the field. They got plenty done through the air in the first half, and we'll see if they even need to look for balance as we start the third quarter.
Well, and I think defensively, you understand, like the running game isn't a big part of the plan. I wonder how they adjust and play more coverage to this pass-happy offense.
Yeah, so you're going to have to be ready if you're a quarterback then. You're probably going to see some different coverages. You might see a little bit more blitz in the second half as well, so you have to know where your answers are.
Quarterback adjusting the pattern. Brown will throw it. Trying to get behind the defense. He's got it upright. And that one looked as if it might go all the way, but they picked up more than 40 yards before the touchdown-saving tackle. That last play changed everything on this possession. They've got it 1st and 10 inside the 30. Gives it on the option. Turning it on. Nice pickup on the ground there, and they'll move the sticks with the first down.
This is going to be a big key for him, David, with the lead here in the second half, running the football, right? Staying on the field and bleeding the clock.
And run the football, you're ahead, you can be a little bit more conservative. But again, this opens up the pass. This keeps everything in balance for this offense.
That completion will take it inside the 4, and the offense is threatening.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This offense had so much success in that first half, so in the third quarter, they come out, and the quarterback looks like he's still dealing. This has been a really nice drive. That was a really nice...
Touchdown, Minnesota! And the punishment has been extended.
Wow, this offense, they have a lot of faith in this running back. Knowing if they get down into this area of the field, he can get it done, and he can answer the bell. 2 rushing touchdowns already for this offense.
And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Colorado has the ball back, and the Buffaloes hoping to put their team in prime position on offense. Unless you have somebody ready to do his best Tom Brady impression, down 28-3 is no fun, and they have to get something going right now. Smashes him with the stiff arm. They get him out of bounds, couple yards short of midfield. They'll mark it at the 48, and this offense is rolling. And the Buffaloes come to the line after ripping off that huge gain on the ground, trying to keep it going. Intercepted. Big play stops the drive. Couldn't find a ton of room on that return, but that small change, they take over it. 3.
And some defensive backs just have a way of finding the football, and he's starting to develop that. His 3rd interception on the season, just has a good feel for playing that spot in the back end.
Here's a hit. And he was hit just as he was releasing the pass, and it falls to the ground incomplete.
And sometimes you see great shooters, and they get on fire, and they just can't miss. And that's what this QB looks like the last couple weeks, man. Just completion percentage through the roof, running the offense at an elite level. You can tell in complete control of this offense.
Quick completion on the out. Really confident throw and catch there. Big pickup, and they have a first down.
Well, this defense is going to have to find a way to start mixing up their coverages. They're in a tough spot. They're down right now, so most people would think the opponent would be running the ball, but if you've had the success these guys have had throwing it, you're going to see more shot plays, and you better change your looks up to try and get a takeaway to get back in this game.
Man, you see tight end matchups all over the field all the time. Now, it used to just be in the red zone. Now, you just find the big fella, you put him in the slot, try to give him the ball as much as possible because you know he can make big plays.
Brown wants to pass. He's got an open man. And he motors into the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Gophers! If this dude were a kitchen knife, he would be slicing tomatoes so thin your in-laws would never come back to your house.
Well, that'd be a good thing. I don't know if I want my in-laws to come back anyways, but he's been on fire. He's been absolutely torching this defense. They've had absolutely no answers for him.
Looking for those open spaces and opportunity. And he loses the ball, keeping his own end. And this fumble will squirt out of bounds. And the Colorado offense is coming back onto the field. Last drive ended with an interception, and they can't afford to have that happen again. They'll try the left side. This defensive front just ran free in the backfield. He'll lose 3.
And yeah, that's kind of surprising. And we talked about this before the game. One of the big matchups. Run the football against a defense that's been susceptible against the run throughout the season. But this offense just can't find a way to get it going. And I'm surprised, but now what's your counterpunch? How are you going to get the ground game going? Because so far, not a lot of success.
And the running game has gone in the wrong direction. The offense tries to turn it around and go forward on 3rd down. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. Catch in the middle, it's terrible. That's not quite going to be enough as they stop him 4 yards short of the marker. The Buffaloes will punt it away on 4th down. He's going to try to flip the field with this one. Slips through the line. This guy is a daring punt return man. He's not going to settle for the fair catch. A solid return gets a little bit of ground for the offense. Let's see if they can turn this drive into points. They've got it 1st and 10 at the 50. Power football with the run. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain.
And I kind of like how the running back didn't mess around. Like, just get downhill when you see an opening. A lot of times they close so fast, man. Be decisive, stick your foot in the ground, pick up 3 to 4, and we are not going to complain.
Got him downfield. Gets it all the way inside the 20-yard line to the 19 before being hauled down.
Well, there are a lot of offenses out there that would probably be a little bit more conservative when you've got a lead like this in the 3rd quarter. But when you've got the playmakers these guys have at the skill positions throwing the football, you should keep airing it out. And that's exactly what they're doing now.
Looking to pass inside the red zone. Finds his big tight end. He'll be stopped just short of the end zone, but they'll have it 1st and goal.
A lot of smiles right now on this offense. They've got a big lead, and they're just having fun out there. They're still throwing the football. These receivers are still getting open. Pass protection is still great. This quarterback's thinking to himself, man.
Touchdown, Minnesota! And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house. I mean, the way this team has dominated this game, impressive to say the least.
And it's cool now because you're kicking the crud out of them so bad, you start to put the backups in, and all them get to get juice and get to get some playing time, get some feel good. And the other side, well, they're just taking it right to the face.
The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. run the RPO and throw it right. And he'll step out of bounds after a very productive play. That's going to do it for the quarter, and Minnesota has the lead here. Let's take a quick look at the national rankings to see how this playoff race is shaping up. It'll be second down as we open the final stanza. Wants to go up top. Flips it out in the flat. Runs through a tackle. He'll get it up to the 39 before he's run out of bounds, and this offense just patiently, methodically trying to do work. They'll go to the ground.
You know what? Everybody gets energized on the whole football team when you got running backs that fight for extra yards and breaks tackles. It's awesome to watch. Everybody literally gets a little jolt of energy because that guy continues to fight for everything he gets.
And the Buffaloes in a good spot here with second and short. Rides the back on the option, the give. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it.
Yeah, and this offense has to find a way to run the football. They got to get more creative, but whatever that looks like for this offense, something to jumpstart them because nothing really going on the ground.
Yeah, defensively, though, you got to give them credit, too, because they knew that physically they were going to try to be challenged up front. That was a big MO for this offense coming into it, but the defense, they've risen to the occasion. Their front seven has dominated this entire game.
And the Buffaloes are marching down the field. Snap it to the back. And I think they'll give him 2 on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up. 6th play of the drive coming up. They'll go to work in the air on 2nd down. A shot toward the end zone. And they can't hook up. Going for the big play on 2nd down. Now it's 3rd down.
And it's just been that kind of day for this quarterback and this offense, guys. They have never been able to get into a rhythm throwing the football. Timing's been off. Accuracy hasn't been great. We've seen some drops. Just not in sync. And that's why they find themselves trailing by a lot right here late in the game.
Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. He gets it to the 38-yard line, but this defense forces a 4th down. And they'll send the field goal team back out for the 2nd time tonight. Everything will have to be clean from 55 yards away. And he's got it counted all the way to 55. Never in doubt. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Fellas, we head to Dallas for a final update on one of the best games every year, the Red River rivalry.
And the returner could find no daylight. Down. Minnesota has it back, and the Gopher offense is headed onto the field. This offense has really been clicking in the game so far, Jesse.
No doubt. Everything their play caller is dialing up, these guys offensively have been able to go out and execute, David.
Yeah, and it's just maintaining the lead. Keep doing what you've been doing. You got a big lead. Let's just keep piling it on until they find an answer.
And here's the mindset if you're on offense. 4th quarter, you've got a huge lead. Obviously, you're going to run the football, but just be aware of the clock. You don't want to snap it too quickly. You're probably just doing safe runs inside the tackles like you saw right there. You just got to execute. You got to be aware, but you've got this game in hand so long as you don't turn it over.
And he can't make the connection on his first attempt. Ball is at the 41 as this defense tries to force the punt on 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Finds his big tight end. And it's a catch, but he's got enough for the 1st down.
And you got to love the versatility of the big fella. You can put him in the box and let him block big defensive linemen, or you put him in the slot and you throw him the football and have success.
And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on first down. Second down coming. Plenty of work to do here on second and long. Quarterback making adjustments. Wants to keep it in the air. Wide open downfield.
This is a tight end that not only is going to play with his hand in the ground, but he can line up in the slot as well and attack the defense vertically. He's too fast for linebackers to cover, and he's too big for DBs to cover. He's a real weapon in this offense.
To the air on first down. They'll run the screen. There he goes. He's forced out of bounds inside the 5 at the 4, and they save the touchdown, at least for now.
I tell you, I love the mentality by this offense right now. They've got a pretty big lead. They're still being aggressive, taking shots, and they're finding the matchups they like. And, man, they're taking advantage right now.
Looking to the end zone. And give him another 6. Grabs him for a touchdown, and the blowout continues.
With that last touchdown, they remain undefeated. And what can you say about this offense? One of the most explosive in the entire nation. And they're coming in, I think, every week with the mindset that we're just going to outscore everybody. We are okay going into a track meet. And that's really what we saw in this game today. But opponents just cannot keep pace with them and all of the athletes they have on the offensive side of the ball.
They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. They'll move the tight end. Wasting no time throwing on this drive. A little release to the back. They'll mark him out of bounds at about the 29-yard line.
And this game is obviously out of hand. But I think the fans would argue, too, at this point, like, all right, well, let's not throw checkdowns, right? Let's throw some deep balls and continue to open up this offense and keep fighting. I think that's what you want to see. You want to see your squad not quit. Keep fighting until the very end of the football game.
Back to pass on second down. Hit as he throws. It's picked off, and another empty drive.
And that's kind of what this offense has done all day. They have struggled. They haven't gotten a rhythm. They haven't found a way to get points on the scoreboard. And late in this game, when your defense and your team really needed it the most, Palmer, they throw the INT.
And it's a microcosm, too, of just how dominant the defense has been. They've always been a step ahead. They've been the more physical side, and they've been making plays on the back end. That interception should seal this thing.
And that's exactly how you draw it up. And that's why the option's so hard to stop. QB, man, draw the defense in. Look at me. I'm the first option. Bam. Next thing you know, he pitches it, gets a positive gain down the field.
Quick completion on the out route. Turning on the Jets. He finally goes out of bounds after the explosive play, but now the question is, did the official see something to bring it back? Just when they thought they had the big play, the penalty wipes it out. First down here for the offense. He's looking to pass. Throws toward the end zone. And incomplete on the deep ball.
And how about this offense? They're not worried about the clock. They're not worried about the score. They're not worried about early and down. Still trying to execute their offense. Still trying to make big plays. And they've had a great day so far.
To the air on second down. Quickly to the tight end. And he's wrestled to the ground.
And this defense continuing to struggle with the passing game. Listen, these offenses are so sophisticated nowadays. They're hard to stop, man. And it's a new one every single week. And I say this game, this defense underperformed. They're better than what they've shown. They've gotten torched today. And this is a tape that they're going to want to burn and never watch again.
And on fourth down, they'll try to put 3 on the board. Looks as if this will be a 51-yard attempt. It is perfect. And they just tack on a little more to this gargantuan lead.
and they just tack on more points to this big lead. Listen, fourth quarter was sitting extremely pretty. All we got to do, not give up big plays, make them earn everything they get the rest this way, and we looking pretty good.
Opening play of this drive comes from the 11. Leaves it with the running back. Finds just enough daylight to work his way up to the 19-yard line. The Buffaloes can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go.
Coaches always harp about...
It's a fumble! Defense falls on the ball. Going to be a turnover.
Great job by the defense here, forcing the fumble on the wide receiver. Look, understanding the ball came out quick. I got to break, get Hats to the football, secure the tackle, try to get that football out. Nice turnover, nice hustle by this defense.
And after this play, the cake will be baked. Quarterback making checks. Whoops, someone moved a little bit early. Offense going to pick up a 5-yard penalty.
False start on offense.
So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. He's looking to throw. Pocket breaking down. Can't make the connection. Incomplete pass, and 1 second remains.
And that's a good stop for this defense. And listen, there hasn't been a lot of positive today, but let's finish this game strong. I think that'll be the message from the defensive coordinator. Can we get a stop? Can we get them off the field? I know lots went wrong, but let's live in this moment and try to be great right here to end the game.
Final shot falls to the turf, and that'll be the ball game. When you hit this point in the season, week 7, you sort of turn the corner, and